Welcome to another episode of Ask the Expert on Contingent Workforce Strategies LinkedIn group. And I'm super excited about today. I'm learning a ton about this topic from this guest. And I wanted to it's such an important topic because it's such a great area of our talent pools out there and of society in general. So it's a really important topic. The idea of how to attract, source, hire, and integrate into your organization veteran talent and talent pools. And I've got one of the best in our industry here, Michael Hurtado. And Michael, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me. And I am in the staffing industry with a purpose-driven staffing company that puts vets to work. We focus on putting veterans to work. I did 13 years in the Army, medically retired from the Army, and had kind of done a few things and met someone that. I came into the staffing industry with. She's the current Rochelle Bauer. She's the current owner of Workforce Connections. We talked during COVID, and I kind of just put her on the spot and said, "Hey, what do you do for veterans?" And she said, "We really don't do a lot for veterans." And we collaborated and formed Veteran Connections. And that we like I said, we're a focus driven company that we would like to put vets to work.
That's
And
amazing. And
yeah,
so you were 13 years in the service, and then you're also fighter. I like when we talked.
I am. I'm a full-time firefighter in St. Louis County. I'm a fire captain there. I actually have a Monday through Friday staff position there. So yeah, it's a full busy life, and I just liked giving to my country and enjoy giving to my community. And now I want to give back to veterans, and that's what Veteran Connections.
Well,
That's
it's so
that's
important, right? It is so important and such amazing talent pool as well. Like thinking about this, and of course, you hear different things through media and different writings, and everybody has different ideas. But this is why I was so excited about this topic is just understanding some of the, you know, identifying some of the challenges with veterans as individuals coming into the workforce, understanding how they can apply their skills into the normal 9 to 5 work, as well as even organizations. Some of them have different challenges as well in making that connection. They want to, but then they don't know how to do it properly. So what are some of those obstacles that you've seen or heard about with some of your associates and different folks that you're working with at Veteran Connections?
some of the things are. I think the average veteran when he or she gets out of the service, I don't think that they really know their worth. I mean, they have strong work ethic, leadership skills, adaptability. I mean, it's very difficult to find those qualities in the average person. And I think that serving in the military, it's very difficult.
Hmm.
When you're in, you don't really think it's that difficult, but then when you get out and you do work a civilian type job, you actually see how difficult that was. So I think the adaptability that these men and women have are astronomical,
Yeah.
astronomical.
And some of the employers, what has been some of the issues that they've seen with bringing veterans in as well?
The leadership skills that these men and women have are second to none. In my opinion, I think that the average person can learn any job. I really do. And I think that employers, they don't know what they're getting. They don't know what they're getting.
I always say, hire for qualities and integrity, and you can teach the skills. You said it yourself, and over the years, my best employees and are like a lot of my clients' best employees, they've hired for that, intrinsic quality in the individuals, and those individuals go up the ranks, working it from the mailroom to then the IT department to then a business operations unit, and then, like you say, the leadership qualities shine, and as they move into the different ranks, they move up as well into those leadership positions. So you're bang on with the quality of individuals that and what is taught within the service around leadership skills, doing the right things, etc., the hard work ethic. Those are hard to teach. It's
Sure.
the skills you can, right? So the other side of it too is the technical skills too. I know I was originally an IT recruiter and a technical recruiter, and a lot of telecom skills as well, so that I'd seen. So is there a way to match some of the telecom skills or the technical skills that veterans learn within their time in the service within
There
the
are
industry as well?
There are. I mean, there are several jobs in the military. I mean, not everyone was a tank commander like myself. There are jobs that there are actually IT jobs
Yeah.
within the military, I, the skills that they get are impeccable. I mean, when when you're putting in certain situations and you have to problem solve, that's huge. I don't think that everyone can do that. I really don't. And veterans can. Veterans can. I think that in the military, you get out of the military and you really don't think that your skills are maybe if you're a missile operator, I don't know all the jobs, but
Yeah.
if you're a missile operator, it's still a technical job. So to me, if you can be a missile operator, I think that you can be some sort of programmer. You can be some sort of uh I I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, it's interesting because it's so from an employer standpoint, right? You hit it on the, they don't know what they're getting often in the talent, because it's hard to map the definitions between the skills you've learned within the service versus those applicable skills, let's say at a bank, right? And
yes,
so, like you've said, there's jobs that are IT jobs, finance jobs, administrative jobs, etc., that in the service they are doing as well, and those are easily applicable. It's once you get outside and you're more in the field that it's hard to define some of those technical skills and the skills that they're learning, how they apply within a traditional civilian job, right? At a
yes,
bank, etc. So if I'm an employer, right, and I have a mandate to hire more veterans, right? So
right,
unfortunately or unfortunately, veterans often will get kind of put in that diversity conversation, but I think it's a category on its own, quite honestly. And so then this is why we're having this conversation today. So, like, if I'm an employer, I come to Veteran Connections, but also thinking about resources to help with accommodations and ways of thinking, to actually be more productive, and some best practices in hiring and integrating veterans into the workforce. Are there some resources that employers can go to as well?
Sure, there are. That's one of the that's one of the things that I do with our company. I explain to the the employers exactly the mindset of a vet. You know, when you joined the service, you were told what to wear, you were told what you're going to eat, you were told how much money you're going to make, how to get promoted, and I just like to let the employers know that this is what you're getting. This person, uh, I probably leave this part out, but this person has never negotiated for their salary. You know, and that's one thing that we do like to help the vets out with as well, is negotiating your salary. Just because someone says that you're going to make a certain amount per year doesn't mean that that's what it is. You can have negotiating type tactics, and you just don't have that in the military. You know exactly where you're going to make year one, year two, all the way up through year 35 if you
Yeah.
decide to stay that long. So I just think that education of the employee, their employers, as well as the employees, is very important.
Yeah, no, and I think that would drive the probability of success and productivity, which is a measure of success, like through the roof by really getting conscious about a program where you educate as the recruiting team, you educate as your management team, etc., on working with veterans. And I know it kind of, we talk about the diversity, but it's category on its own, right? And so I
I
think
agree.
that
Yeah.
it's so important to really make a conscious decision to invest in this and understand it, because the benefits, and we could talk about it a little bit more about the benefits of what you're getting. It's a large talent pool, but it's also highly skilled, both physically, technically, leadership wise. And so some of the benefits of being aware and working with this talent pool is second to none. Have you seen, like, in as veteran connections and working with a large number of employers, have you seen a trend towards that whole idea of bringing a program together and making a conscious effort to work with organizations like yourself, or one of the the government agencies, etc., to really put a program in place?
Well, I know that there are several government programs. I mean, there's a lot of tax benefits as well for employers to hire veterans. But I've been to several conferences, and Rochelle and I always go to the veteran portion of it, or the military portion of it. I just remember one time we were at a conference, and a gentleman was talking about the worth of veterans, and like what employers should expect from veterans. And she kind of looked at me and said, are you bored with this? And I said, you know, maybe a little bit. It's kind of very elementary. But
Yeah,
as I looked around the room at employers and recruiters, their eyes were huge, and they were hanging on by every word that this gentleman said. And it kind of it made me more driven to do what I'm doing now,
yeah,
just for that simple fact. I feel like just you know, my mindset, I want to help veterans, and of course I want to help my company, and I want to help my partner. But I my 90% of what I do is helping vets. So yes, probably 100% of what I
yeah.
do
Oh, and
is.
it's not only the right thing to do, it's there's an ROI with this, and that's why the audience at the different conferences are listening, because it's a talent pool, once again, that's so talented. It's the how you bring it in and be productive is and how you recruit is really the question that is very difficult right? Because it is a slightly different talent pool, and they have different ways of thinking, and they don't know their worth, and so they don't negotiate. They may not know how to look for jobs. They may not how to talk in interviews. All of those types of things that, you know, companies need to be aware of to gain access to the talent that they have within and underneath in some cases, right?
Sure. Yeah. I kind of compare the two to, if you leave the United States, just say you go to Canada, where
Yeah,
you're at. I, the language is different. The slang is different. The terminology is different. It's the same with veterans. A veteran might say a word like "squared away," and somebody might not, a non-veteran might not know what that means.
yeah,
So that's part of the gap that I want to bridge, that our company, Veteran Connections,
yeah.
wants to
No,
bridge.
it's exciting. So once again, I always want to end with a, hey, what are some next steps here that someone in our audience can take to, and I usually put myself in the hiring manager's chair or the program lead at a contingent workforce program. Um, put them put myself in their chair and ask, what do I do? I want to learn and I want to do more, but what are the building blocks that I need to put in place to, and what are some of the resources or tricks that you've seen in what you're doing, in helping employers, that you've seen some employers do that would be some nice building blocks and next steps in building a program? It always starts with the will to start, but then what are some ways to accelerate that and be successful in that? Because everybody always has pressure to bring in the talent that they need at the time. It's a lot of a just-in-time workforce, but more and more organizations are saying, well, the just-in-time people aren't there, so how do we build a strategic program to help bring in the talent pool that can become those skill sets, right?
I, I think it's just like hiring anyone that doesn't have a lot of experience. Give the person a chance. You know, I can assure you, as a veteran, you're going to get that leadership. You're going to get that hard work. You're going to get that work ethic. You're going to get one of the one of the best employees. I mean, even working at the fire department, some of my, and these guys are probably going to hear this, but some of my best employees are vets,
Yeah.
just because they get it. They've been through some tough things in their life. They've slept on desert floor. They've slept on grass. They've not showered for weeks. I mean, that's tough.
That
That's
is,
tough.
yeah,
That's tough. And to go out and sweat for an 8 hour or a 10 hour day, that's nothing to a veteran.
yeah.
I can assure you.
And the appreciation of um the veteran community when they are successfully at a job and making way in society again is probably pretty special, right? And they
It
feel
is,
so.
yeah, very special. I think that employers should really educate themselves on veterans. I mean, it's a I wouldn't, just being a vet, I wouldn't call myself a minority class, but I mean it is different. It's a culture. It's a culture, and we would work with people from all over the country, from the Northeast, from Texas, from the West Coast, and everyone has different personalities, but you always end up in the end bonding and meshing and working together, and just the adaptability of vets is uncanny.
Yeah. Well, and in a world that, it has been with quiet quitting and different things happening in the world, where I find having people that do the follow through and dare I say, go to war for the organization, right? It's a special talent pool that has been to war and knows what it takes in a very easy way to get projects done, follow through, and have that character to follow through, right? And so it's a very special talent pool, and something that more and more organizations need to address in their programs. So, Michael, I is there anything else you'd would like to add? Because I can't say and thank you enough for the special time we've had here, and getting into the mindset of the veterans, and talking about some of the obstacles that we're seeing and some of the to create your program around engaging with veterans has been really special. So anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think, well, maybe I would say to employers, get to know some veterans, and you'll understand that their problem solving skills, their teamwork, and their adaptability. I know that people are quick to say, thank you for your service, but really get to know a vet. That's what I would say to employers and or employees.
Yeah,
And
100%. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story and Veteran Connections experience with helping employers connect to this unbelievable talent pool.
thank you so much, Jeff. I really appreciate your time.